Reaction to the Michigan versus Oklahoma game, 24-13. This game took place in Norman, Oklahoma. And I told y'all exactly how this game was going to play out. If you watched the preview here on Unafraid Show, you knew what was going to happen. That Oklahoma was going to win this game, and it was going to be on the heels of Mr. John Mateer, their quarterback. Now, there's a lot to break down in this game because this whole generational talent word has been thrown out. Even I threw it out this last week describing Bryce Underwood, the quarterback over there at Michigan for the Wolverines. Now, I still am very excited about the kid. I think his future is extremely bright. I believe that this is, a formidable team. Now, first of all, let's look at the big picture of this game. You had a Big Ten team in Michigan and a SEC team in Oklahoma. Now, the SEC is going to finally claim Oklahoma now because they got a big win. Last year, oh, they're not a real SEC team, all of this stuff. But I'm going to tell you this, Oklahoma getting John Mateer was the thing that they needed. And big picture for this football game, I love this football game. This was high level football. It was better than week one in terms of both teams were cleaner. But most importantly, this was a physical football game. This is exactly what we want to see. When we turn on the TV and we want to see college football, that's what we want to see. We want to see fast, physical, people making plays, people getting defensive stops, and everything in between. And some very good coaching as well. So people started out this season looking at Brent Venables, head coach over there at Oklahoma, and saying, oh, he's on the hot seat. He can't get it done, this and that. But it is clear the reason why Brent Venables has been such a fantastic defensive coordinator at Oklahoma, then over at Clemson with Dabo Swinney, and now back taking over the play calling duties again on that defense. Where that defense put Bryce Underwood in a trick bag. And I totally forgot to tell you guys. Make sure that you guys like, subscribe, get notifications, tell a friend about the show, and most importantly, share. I'm George Wrighster, former NFL player, college football player, and college football analyst here on the Unafraid Show, George Wrighster's College Football Podcast and CW. So make sure that you tune in to that South Florida Miami game next week because it just got bigger now that South Florida beat Florida this weekend. So make sure that you tune in because you see your boy on the tube on CW. All right. So people were questioning Oklahoma, and the SEC is going to have their hands full with Oklahoma. Hands full because Oklahoma, they got Temple next week. Then they got Auburn, Kent State, Texas, South Carolina, Ole Miss, Tennessee, Alabama, Missouri, and LSU. Now, they got a tough road and a tough schedule, but the physicality that they play with, oh, it is a special brand of football. Now, I believe that Oklahoma is a team that will come near crashing the SEC party in the college football playoff, but not quite. But I had them in my preseason top 25 when a lot of other people didn't because I told you I knew what was going to happen. We are show prep for everybody else. This is why you come to George Ricer's College Football Podcast. Now, when this game first started, and well, actually, first, big picture on the Michigan side. Michigan lost this football game, but Michigan is in the right direction. If they had had Bryce Underwood last year with that team, they would have been competing for a college football playoff spot. Now, Michigan is going to be a team this year. They are a good football team. They are not a great football team. They are going to win 8 games, maybe 9. But 2026 is going to be hell for anybody on their schedule. I'm telling you that right now. I only Oregon and Ohio State are legitimately going to be able to compete with them in terms of winning the Big Ten championship, not Penn State. Well, Penn State to a lesser degree, and then you'll add Washington in there. depends on what happens with USC, where Illinois is with their new quarterback for next year and everything else. But this game that finished 24-13, the Sooners, they set the tone early because it was 14-0 going into halftime, and you're sitting there like, hold up, they're controlling the game. They were 7 for 13 on third downs versus Michigan, and Michigan was 3 for 13. And that was the edge of the entire night. Like, that's the thing, is that Oklahoma was able to extend drives, Michigan was not. And John Mateer, the Washington State transfer, the guy that I told you guys was one of the Arch is the top quarterback in the college football. No, this dude, John Mateer, was going to be one of the top two quarterbacks going into this season because he 3,000-yard passer, damn near 1,000-yard rusher last year at Washington State. People tried to discount it. And I was like, did you watch Cam Ward at Washington State and then what he went down in Miami and did? Now, the difference is I don't love John Mateer's throwing motion all the time. This is why you get more like sailing throws every now and then, especially when he's throwing to he gets a lot of high and right throws just because of his throwing motion. But 270 passing yards, 74 rushing yards, 3 total touchdowns. He had 2 rushing and 1 passing touchdown. And he literally answered every single time that Michigan thought that they were going to get close. He was like, nope, nope, make a play. Nope, make a play. So it was good. And then on the uh, Oklahoma side, Deion Burks, he won his matchup. He was stretching the field, 7 catches for 101 yards and a touchdown, and he stressed Michigan's corners. So that allowed Oklahoma to run the ball a lot better than they did last week because John Mateer finished with 19 carries. Javante Barnes, 6 carries. Torrey Blaylock got 9 carries. Jay Knott, the Cal transfer, he only got 4. So, but they finished 40 carries, 138 yards, and 2 touchdowns. That is really good considering how Michigan ran the ball how Oklahoma ran the ball last week. 3.5 yards to carry against a really good defense. Now, Justice Haynes was the lone bright spot and spark for Michigan. This dude is hot. And when I say hot, I mean he is fast. Because he popped that 75-yard touchdown, 1 cutback, number 22 didn't fill the gap. Oh, he was hit his head on the goalpost. And you're like, ooh. But outside of that 1 carry, uh, Michigan only averaged 2.3 yards per carry. 71 yards on their other 31 attempts. Now, when you look at that, how are they able to do that? Physicality and scheme. This was Brent Venables. He was in his bag today. In his bag. And his defense looked like they were controlling Michigan's offense, and Michigan had to react to everything that they did instead of Michigan being able to press the issue and force Oklahoma to react. Um, let's say there was a big point in the game, and it was some missed points, and that was Michigan when they missed that 32-yard field goal in the first half. And that was some badly needed momentum in a low possession game, low scoring game. Those are the things, putting points on the board when you get an opportunity, when you get in games like this, especially when you're starting a true freshman at quarterback. Now, overall, well, actually, and then also Oklahoma, they ended up overcoming some mistakes and still won the game because they had 2 turnovers, a terrible interception by John Mateer, just missed the wide open guy by a mile, and they lost a fumble as well. But they ended up finishing going wire to wire. But let's talk about Bryce Underwood, for example, because he finished the game 9 for 24. 9 for 24, 142 yards. Now, when you are going, and this was similar to what happened to Arch Manning at Ohio State, except for when you looked in Bryce Underwood's eyes, when you looked deep into him, you didn't see that overwhelmed and look that you see out of Arch Manning. And we're going to talk tomorrow on the live show, so make sure you come back here for the live show tomorrow, 4 o'clock. Is on Sunday, that is, depending on when you're watching it. And if it's past Sunday, then go back and watch it. Is it Arch Manning? He looks hurt. He looks hurt. He doesn't look confident. And I know he threw 4 touchdowns in the first half, but that's a whole other thing. But the thing I did like about Bryce Underwood is that he was under fire all night tonight, and he didn't panic. He didn't panic. He didn't flinch, and he didn't make big mistakes. That means that the future is extremely bright. When you are poised while under pressure as a true freshman against one of the best defensive coordinators that we've seen in in this era of college football, that means that your Bryce Underwood's future, Lord have mercy, let him get more games under his belt. Oh, he is going to be a game wrecker. We're talking like Cam Newton, probably about middle of next season. That's what it looks like to me. We also had talked about just the total yards. Oklahoma 382, Michigan 269, 20 first downs to 11 first downs. Like Michigan was really never able to get Oklahoma off schedule for a regular basis. Like for drive here, able to force able to force a couple of turnovers, but also able to get stops. So Michigan's defense, when you look at this game, Michigan's defense gave them a chance to win. They did. The offense just wasn't able to capitalize on it. And this was the only ranked game of the weekend. And this was a statement because Oklahoma is now 2-0. And Michigan is exactly where I believed that they would be at 1-1. And going forward, so I told you about Oklahoma's schedule. But then Michigan, they get a layup next week with Central Michigan, which they should be able to win and handle. Then they go at Nebraska, very winnable game. Wisconsin, at USC, Washington, at Michigan State, Purdue, Northwestern, Maryland, and then Ohio State. They are going to finish 8-4 this year. But the end of the season, oh, you are going to see some electricity out of Bryce Young. And you guys can hop in the comments, um shoot it. I'm looking at the comments as we speak. So if you want a question answered or you want something to talk about, then go ahead and holler at it. And Chris, salute to you as well, brother. And appreciate you guys joining me on the show. All right. So I put out my rankings every single week. So I wanted you guys to look at it because my rankings are a little bit different in that I don't factor in this week. Like this week doesn't necessarily impact the entire rankings. And by that I mean because I judge it by three criteria: schedule, play, quality wins, and dominance. And so until you play a real opponent, you can't be number one. So as dominant as Oregon has looked, they can't be number one right now because, yes, Oklahoma State's a Power Four opponent and they absolutely destroyed them. So Oregon may move up in the polls with the way Penn State showed and everything else. But I take the rankings, rip them up, and then make them again every single week the same way that the College Football Playoff Committee is supposed to do based upon the given information. So look at the top 25 here. Michigan was number 19 last week. This was still a good performance, so I still feel very, very good about Michigan. This was out of Oklahoma, number 21. This was a dominant performance. So I imagine that Oklahoma is going to accelerate up these rankings on some level. And yeah, and Iowa State keeps plugging along, but I didn't love what they showed against Iowa as well. So you'll be excited to see. Clemson won, but Clemson looked atrocious versus Troy. So there will be a fall there. There will be a fall out of Florida because they lost to South Florida. So you could be prepared for a South Florida mention in these rankings. USC is moving along. Washington's taking care of UC Davis. So I'm excited. But you guys, make sure that you guys come back tomorrow because this was the reaction show Michigan versus Oklahoma. And I believe, right, with my college football playoff bracket, the teams that I still feel good about making the college football playoff, still feel good about Oregon, Ohio State, Texas. Don't see Clemson winning anymore. This is a broken prediction. They're throwing that in the trash. LSU can still do it, but LSU, the Brian Kelly's not running with no humility right now. I feel even better about UNLV making the college football playoff now that they beat UCLA today. But South Florida could be coming in that thing as well. But we'll get into way more about that tomorrow when we do the live show. So make sure that you guys come back. I'm George Wrighster. This is the Unafraid Show, George Wrighster's College Football Podcast. Peace out. Catch you guys tomorrow.